Hey everybody, I wanted to do something a little bit different today, and it's inspired by a good friend of mine who asked me to show her how to breathe, which sounds odd probably because in order to make the request, she had to be breathing. But she knows that one of my absolute favorite things to do in workshop is to practice deep breathing. And even when workshop organizers are planning and I talk to them about the deep breathing exercise, they're skeptical. And she's also been skeptical. But unbeknownst to me, one of the things that she has observed is that I oftentimes will take a deep breath, I will reset myself when there's a lot going on and I just need a moment to get centered. And I didn't realize that I do that, but yeah, it makes sense that I do. So, what I thought would be helpful would be to do, a relatively quick breathing exercise for you all. So, if you're ready, make sure that you're seated and that you're seated comfortably with your back against the back of your chair, with your feet on the floor, and not crossed at the ankle or anything like that, and with your hands rested comfortably in your lap or just by your side. So you're comfortably seated. And actually, in a moment, I'm going to suggest that you close your eyes because you do not have to look at me. It is most important that you focus on your own body and what you're doing. And I'll tell you, some of the movement might not feel natural because it's just not what we naturally do. Unless you're someone who already does yoga or who practices deep breathing, the movement won't feel natural, but that's okay. That you just want to have an aspirational goal of where you're going. So go ahead right here actually and close your eyes, and I promise I will tell you exactly what you need to do. And at moments, I may even close my own eyes because it allows me to be so focused that I can walk you through where you're going. So, close your eyes. And what we're going to do is that when I ask, you're going to take a deep breath in through your nose, and you're going to pretend as if your stomach is a balloon receiving that air, and your stomach balloon is going to expand. And when you exhale, your stomach's going to come back in, even if only perceptibly more. So you're going to take air in through your nose, push your stomach out as if it's a balloon, and then push that air out through your mouth, and your stomach comes back in because you've expelled the air from your balloon. So go ahead and continue practicing this, taking air in through your nose and holding it for just a moment, and then blowing all of that air out through your mouth, and your stomach comes back in because your balloon has expelled all of the air. So continue to breathe deeply, taking air in through your nose, pushing your stomach out, holding it just a moment, and then blowing all of that air out. Continue practicing breathing in this way. It may feel a little bit uncomfortable, but that's okay. You're breathing differently from how you would typically breathe. But again, continue to practice breathing very intentionally, taking air in through your nose and holding it maybe for a 1-2 count, and then blowing all of the air out through your mouth. Now, as you're continuing with your deep breathing, just notice if you have any tension, maybe over your left eyebrow or over your right eyebrow. Just a little tension, a little tightness, maybe a little bit of pressure. And as you're breathing deeply, taking air in through your nose and blowing it out through your mouth, tell yourself to release that tension from your right eyebrow, from just above your left eyebrow, that you have released that tension as you're continuing to breathe deeply, taking air in through your nose and holding it and blowing it all out through your mouth. As you're continuing to breathe deeply, notice if you have any tension or tightness in your right shoulder, in your left shoulder, maybe in your neck. As you're continuing to breathe deeply, Taking air in through your nose and blowing it all out through your mouth. Tell yourself to release that tension, that tightness from your right shoulder, from your neck, from your left shoulder, as you're continuing to breathe very deeply. Notice other places where you might have tension, some tightness, maybe your low back. It's a pretty common place to carry tightness. And as you're breathing deeply, taking air in through your nose and holding it and blowing it out all through your mouth, tell yourself to release that tension from your low back. Continuing to practice breathing very deeply, taking air in through your nose and holding it and then blowing it all out through your mouth. Notice if you have any tension or tightness in other places, maybe your left hip or your right hip, maybe the back or front of your left knee. Do you have any tension in your left knee? Maybe in your right knee. As you're continuing to breathe deeply, taking that air in through your nose and blowing it all out through your mouth, tell yourself to release all of that tension from your left knee, from your right knee, as you're continuing to breathe very, very deeply. Continuing to practice your deep breathing. Noticing if you have any tension in other parts of your body. Maybe your wrists. Notice if you have any tension there. Maybe in the front of your left thigh or your right thigh. Do you have any tension? Do you have any tightness there? Because as you're breathing very deeply, remembering to take air in through your nose and holding it and blowing it all out through your mouth, you can tell yourself to release all of the tension, release all of the tightness. And in just a moment, I'm going to ask you to take 3 very deep breaths. Taking air in through your nose, remember, and blowing it out through your mouth. Go ahead and start here. Take 1 very deep breath. Remember to push your tummy out just a little bit and then blow all of that air out through your mouth. Again, taking another deep breath here, air all in through your nose and holding it and blowing it all out through your mouth. And then a last very deep breath here and holding it and then blowing all of that air out through your mouth and letting yourself release all of the tension from your body. Okay, go ahead and open your eyes if you haven't already. And just notice how your body feels, just with a little bit less weight and burden that you may have previously been carrying around. What you're doing is a combination of deep breathing, and I mixed in a little progressive muscle relaxation to allow your body to release tension and tightness and pressure. The reason that the breathing feels uncomfortable is because over time, we as adults have gotten a little bit lazy about our breathing. But if you've ever noticed a baby in a crib, when that baby's breathing, their stomach is expanding like hugely. And then when they exhale, their tummy completely deflates. That's how we're actually supposed to breathe. But over time, we've gotten kind of lazy, and so that's not how we breathe. But it's how you're supposed to breathe, deeply and diaphragmatically. Again, don't worry if it's uncomfortable at first. It'll get more and more comfortable with time. And the thing that I love about deep breathing, you can do it anytime. You can stop whatever you're doing and center yourself, especially when you feel like your thoughts are getting out of hand, and just focus your body on your breathing. And that's why I said close your eyes. You don't have to see what all is going on out there. You're only focusing on your body and interrupting a stress response, because our body's getting geared when stuff is happening, completely unbeknownst to us. But when you stop and you breathe and you focus your thoughts and you center your body on your breathing, you can feel a lot better, even if only just for a few minutes. But you can breathe anytime. I guarantee that. You guys take care and be great.